Welcome to The Card Is Going to Change, presented by AIW and sponsored by Smart Mark Video and the This Is Awesome Wrestling Show. Got a great show for you this week. I'm your host, Glenn Moore, joined here in studio by John Thorne and Chandler Biggins, the co-owners of AIW. And this week is about some alumni. This is Volume 2 of AIW Alum. And these two guys do not know the list of names I have picked to talk about, whether good or bad. We're going to be talking about 6, 7, 8 different men or women who have come to AIW and competed, even if it was one time or 1,000 times or whatever. They will be talking about them. And the first person I'm going to be picking on this list, and we talked about some other guys in Volume 1, so if you're thinking about, Seth Rollins and whatnot, go back to Volume 1. It's there. Don't worry. We hit on him. First person I want to talk about is Ricochet. I want to know about him.
Oh, Ricochet.
I don't know.
Ricochet was actually one of the guys that we tried to get for the Jimmy Wang Yang spot at AIW Against the World, but things didn't work out. We only booked Ricochet. Well, we booked him twice. The first time we booked him at Absolution 5, and he wrestled Shima Zion, which...
Because he was already in town for Chikara, because they ran the afternoon. So
Yeah.
then we were able to get him in the evening.
We doubled up on him, so that was I don't know what year that was, 2010 or something.
That was the Bryan Danielson show, yeah.
Yeah. So the legend has it, is supposedly that match is what got DJZ hired for TNA. They did it all. It was awesome. And then we booked him another time, and he canceled the day of because he said he hurt his ankle or something. And we had to book Jimmy Jacobs Jimmy Jacobs was always the go-to guy on 4 hours notice. He would always accept a booking,
He was the king of utility player.
which is now that he can no longer accept bookings.
Really screws us.
Fucking screws us when people cancel. Jimmy Jacobs was by far the unknown MVP of AIW.
I think the first time you ever legitimately booked him that he wasn't a fill-in, he's like, who am I replacing? And you're like, no, man, we're trying to book you. And he's like, what?
Yeah, we were trying to book him well in advance, and he was so shocked. But I mean, we booked Ricochet before. He was, the gigantic deal that he is today. We hadn't talked to him for years after the last minute cancellation, because that's just how we are. We like to hold grudges, but. He recently has been, sending out feelers and, had people like Ethan Page reaching out to us and stuff. So when Chris Hero canceled, he was definitely one of the guys that we were trying to lock down for AIW Against the World. It just
didn't work out.
It just couldn't happen. So, there's really not much more to the story of booking Ricochet. He only ended up ever having one match on Absolution 5. It's actually up for free on the AIW YouTube. Ricochet versus Shima Zion.
There's a famous quote that I'll use in this situation is, he doesn't seem like a guy I'd be friends with in real life.
Okay.
Why you say that?
He just comes off a little cocky.
Chandler's like the cocky ones, huh?
I don't like the cocky one.
He just likes, I don't know what he likes. He likes guys that are over the age of 55.
That is true. If Ricochet had a USWA run, he'd be my favorite wrestler.
This is also our argument all the time is, hey, let's book this guy. And then it's no, let's book this guy that hasn't wrestled since 1991. And it's
Dennis Stamp.
Let's find a happy medium somewhere. We gotta, we gotta book some of the guys that
All
are
I'm
good
saying
too.
is, if you want high flyers, Tony Falk and Superstar Bill Dundee are available.
Okay, all right, let's move on.
All right, let's move on to my second name on the list, Drake Younger.
Every time I hear Godsmack, man, I think of good memories of Drake. Drake was one of my favorite guys ever.
Man, Drake, Drake's a former Absolute champion. I couldn't tell you how many times we brought Jake in. It's more times than I could probably count. But I know the first time we brought him in, it was
2007.
Yeah, and it was right when AIW was in the middle of the beginning of the epic Cleveland Wrestling Wars, where there was all these different promotions, all battling over the same 100 fans. So my genius idea was, I'll do death matches because I don't have to pay myself, and then we'll just bring in these death match guys, and
then
I'll just let them beat me up, and hopefully that I will, people will want to come see that.
And I could never in a million years remember why, because, it was so long ago. But for whatever reason, not only were we going to have a death match, but we were going to book Drake Younger and the Necro Butcher for the match, which it was 2 against 1 at that point, basically.
Yeah, I'm a idiot. But
I think maybe we were trying to book Necro, and then he was being wishy-washy, so we booked
you
Drake.
were super about Drake Younger, I know that.
I was super for Necro and Drake, which we'll get to my relationship with Necro on another episode, but Necro and Drake were my 2 favorite guys on the independents at that time.
Yeah, 2007. This is
Their peaks.
Peak IWA Mid-South, CZW stuff.
Well, and that was the year prior at your grandma's Christmas party. We all watched Tournament of Death in your room.
Yeah, that was how we spent Christmas Eve one year. With 27 people packed into my little bedroom watching deathmatch tournaments. Because that's when deathmatch wrestling was. I don't know if it's ever been hotter than.
And I don't think it'd ever get back to that point.
But yeah, the whole purpose, honestly, to booking Drake for the first time was, I don't have to pay myself, so I'm just going to put myself in these really dangerous situations and hope people want to come see that more than the other 4 companies that were running the Cleveland area at the time. And then, we just hit it off. And
because the first day he got in early, the first time at Hell on Earth 3 in 2007, and we all went out to eat. And at the end, I remember you being you whispered to me oh man, it probably won't be that bad tonight. But then Drake was just the happiest man alive because this was his first time in Cleveland, and he is the world's biggest Bone Thugs and Harmony fan. So he recognized every oh, that's the bridge from this.
That's the bridge
video.
from the first of the month video. That is honestly probably what was really the key to our friendship with Drake Younger was Bone Thugs and Harmony being from Cleveland,
and
Ohio.
Drake loves to drop 216 on everybody. Yeah. Hey man, it's 216.
And he came in so many times, and Drake has been very vocal about his kind of dark, the dark road that he went down when he got super into bad stuff.
Yeah, and when he was probably into it when we first met him, but he got really dark a couple years into us booking him.
One great story is at my 25th birthday party. Drake and Josh both came. It was an epic birthday party where my friends did in-house call strippers. So it was just 50 people, and then strippers playing beer pong and stuff, and then Drake Younger and Josh Prohibition were there. And we ended up getting so drunk, and then after,
I was with them, and that was the time where our ride abandoned us at your house, and we had no way back. So you guys were going to an after party at a bar.
Yeah, we went to an after stripper party after
a walking distance.
Yeah, after nobody could afford to pay the strippers there to play beer pong any longer. And we went to a bar and we got real drunk, and Drake was so drunk he passed out.
Well, nobody could find him.
Oh yeah, nobody could find him, and then someone finds him passed out.
I found him.
In a snow pile, and he thought that he was at the ECW arena getting ready to do a promo.
We can't find Drake, so I checked the bathroom, not in there. Well, out back there's a gazebo to smoke in, and he was back there even though there was feet of snow. This is in the middle of the one of the worst times in December, and he is in a big Gore-Tex fur coat with the fur hood. And he has passed out in a snow pile, and I'm hitting him Drake, man, you got to wake up. And he's like, boss, I'm not ready for my promo. Who am I working? He thought I was Zandig.
Yeah, which
was a hell of a compliment. I love Zandig, but and then we finally get a ride. Shout out to our buddy Nicholson. He gave us a ride. It was me, Josh, and Drake. And we go to Taco Bell, and Drake ordered more tacos than I've ever seen in my life. He ordered 8 bags of tacos. And then the next day, we all woke up, and Drake is covered in shredded cheese and shredded lettuce.
That's a good night.
Yeah, I never had a taco in my life. But
Drake had enough for all of us.
But yeah, and then it was great to see Drake, so party Drake, transform into family sober Drake.
PMA Drake.
Which is because there were some times where he was getting kind of dark and you didn't really want to be around him. And to see the transformation that guy made in such a short amount of time is like
once he moved to Cali, he was a whole different guy.
Yeah, like California saved that guy's life, man. And I'm so happy, for, what his life has turned into, because honestly, like, there is not a better dude on the planet than Drake Younger. I dare you to find somebody to
We were so
that doesn't
lucky.
like him.
We quit booking him because he got real dark and was not. He turned into an asshole. I'll say it because he's had such a renaissance. But we booked Drake from California. We started booking him again, and then he got signed to WWE. So it was so awesome to have him back. Mean, clean, and serene, as he says. He was nothing but awesome. We booked him a couple times after moving to Cali.
It's Absolution, baby.
It's Absolution, baby.
That is Drake Younger loves Absolution. Like, he loves the big indie shows, and he will still send me a text or write on my Facebook wall the day of Absolution. It just says, "It's Absolution, baby." And anyone that was ever in a locker room with Drake Younger and Absolution knows exactly what I'm talking about.
And so anyways, we go to the first time NXT ran Ohio as part of the Arnold, and they ran the Agora in Cleveland. Like, that guy kept coming up to us and just hugging us and thanking us for being there. And I'm like, you don't have to thank us for being here. This is WWE, man.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, Drake Younger, fucking top-tier dude, like, top 5 best dudes of all time.
He actually did come over to us at the Columbus Arnold, and he whispers to us, he goes, "I want to hug you guys, but I can't because I'm on camera right now." But he's like, "I'm going to send a shout-out to Jerry because Jerry's his favorite wrestler."
He loves Soda Pop Johnson, a.k.a. Jerry.
Oh, God. All right, let's move on to our first female of the evening, Cherry Bomb.
Oh, yeah, we tried to book her for a while at the beginning of G&O because she was friends with Hailey Hatred.
Yeah, Hailey Hatred was really pushing for it because I think they crossed paths in Japan or something.
So we book her at G&O 4, and it just happened that we were looking for somebody for her to work, and there was a girl in Philadelphia that we had known of through, like, before she was in wrestling, named Veda Scott. And so we're thinking, oh, this is going to be great. Little did we know Veda Scott had only had 3 matches. And then so they're working the match, and Cherry Bomb drop kicks Veda Scott headfirst into the ring post.
Yeah, knocks her clean out in what was, I guess, her 4th match of all time.
4th match, and I think her 4th or 5th concussion.
But, and then, there was all sorts of other times where we tried to book her, and she canceled, and...
it got real weird because we tried to book her a bunch of times.
She had transportation issues and all sorts of things. So, like, once that stuff just starts happening, we just kind of, forget.
Kind of like washed our hands.
Yeah, we just kind of forget you exist and we move on.
And, like, there was never, like, because I know people bring her up to us trying to make some controversy or something. We never had any problem personally or professionally with Cherry Bomb.
Well, professionally we had a problem that she didn't come.
She kept no-showing.
But, I mean, that's just the way it goes, like, you can't make it, here's an opportunity, you can't make it, okay, we're going to...
Yeah, like, we can't keep the spot open forever for
We're gonna go book somebody else. And, there's been times in recent memory...
Probably the last, like, 3...
Where, like, she's been on the consideration list, but, you never know. She's doing fine. She's doing fine without AIW, so, if she's back, she comes back one day, maybe she'll be back. If not...
I watch her vegan recipes on Snapchat, so I guess she's got that going for her.
Yeah, I mean, I hung out with her husband at the Warped Tour.
All right, let's move on to Amanda. I was supposed to be here a couple months ago. Chris Hero.
Fuck. I'm trying to think of... Oh, the first time we booked Chris Hero was our first kind of show after a big, breakup that split AIW up. And we were... Bryce Remsburg, I guess... I don't know if we've probably have talked about it, but Bryce Remsburg is kind of the guy that really, really it has been, kind of a pillar in the success and the evolution of AIW because he started kind of contacting us with carloads that, he was gonna have this guy who were, all at the time. He was always traveling with, top tier independent guys. So the whole reason why we booked our first show It was in September of 2007, like the first show after we kind of split up apart from some former partners, was because Bryce had said, hey, the TPI is running this weekend, and we could, you could get a carload on that Sunday of me, Chris Hero, Eddie Kingston, and Jigsaw.
Claudio Castagnoli.
Oh, Claudio Castagnoli, Cesaro. And so that's kind of what led us.
Well, I mean, we'll probably cover the big split of AIW, maybe not, but at the time it became me and Thorne and two partners did not want us to run forever, and we get this text from Bryce Remsburg, and it kind of forced our hand to say Thorne and I wanted to run immediately because that's just how we are. But he caused us to start running, and it probably led to us, surviving all these years. But Chris Hero, man, can't speak highly of him, more highly of him as a performer, but I just don't think him and me will be exchanging Christmas cards this year.
Yeah, I mean, he's just
professionally he's the best, but it just doesn't click.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with him. That's just him and Biggins do
not see eye to eye on
I don't think they care for each other too much. Me and Chris Hero are totally fine, and I think that's kind of why, there's guys that don't like me, and there's guys that don't necessarily like him, or I don't like that guy, or he doesn't like that guy, but we both kind of deal with different people, and I always kind of deal with Chris Hero, and he's a another one of those. He's one of those kind of top tier guys that you just don't see anymore.
No, and every time he's ever been in AIW, he's tore it up.
Yeah, and he always, he like. I don't know if it's because he's from that era, that golden age era of indie wrestling, or what, but it just seems like there's a tough time now of guys making their star rise to that level. But for whatever reason, why they can or they can't, Chris Hero is always one of those guys where you book him or you put him on a show, it always kind of pops people's interest, and people come out to see him, and he always goes above and beyond in the ring. I don't think Chris Hero knows how to phone it in, and that's why he is considered one of those top tier guys. He's still working just as hard as he did in 1999 or whatever it was. Whenever he started, I think he's probably right now in the prime of his career, which is pretty crazy to think about because he's put together one of the arguably the best body of work on independent wrestling that out of anybody.
Let's move on to the Brian Kendrick, a man who's
my guy
in WWE right now.
I will let Chandler Biggins take this one because I think Brian Kendrick is his favorite guy of all time.
Oh, one of my favorite guys of all time. I've never met a man who is so similar-minded to me in conspiracy theories, which, as much as into conspiracy theories as I am, Brian Kendrick's about 10 times more crazy.
Which for people out there in the world of on-demand audio, they don't really know how fucking crazy you are. They only kind of get to hear what they hear in this podcast. But anybody that knows you personally outside of this podcast knows you're a fucking lunatic about conspiracy theories.
Yeah, Brian Kendrick, man. Me and him were basically
these dudes were fucking meant to talk to each other.
Next thing Thorne knows, we're going to be wearing like aluminum foil hats at the hotel.
Oh, my God. These guys and the fucking the holograms and the fucking Sandy Hook and the fucking peanut butter is not...
Well, Sandy Hook hadn't happened at the time.
Whatever. This is my experiences with you. I know specifically that they talked about how nobody's really allergic to peanut butter. It's all set up by the government or something.
And he got a little crazy with the 9/11 stuff about it being holograms, and his proof was that Tupac had just come out at that time as a hologram. So then that was his proof that 9/11 was a hologram.
But Brian Kendrick, he was a part of the very first J-Lit weekend, and he's kind of the reason why the J-Lit after party has become so infamous or whatever over the last years. He's the guy that kind of set that whole thing off.
Yeah, because all I remember from that thing was. That was the year that Fruit Loop vodka came out, and
oh, this is so embarrassing.
We cleared a couple bottles, probably a whole case.
I think that was. I think you were really behind this Fruit Loop vodka thing because you love mixed vodka drinks, and I think you were really pushing this fucking agenda.
Well, but all the girls brought it. I didn't buy any.
Oh yeah, there were quite a few girls there because it was like the first like AIW
2-day
weekend thing. So that was kind of, and he was a part and a big factor in the first ever J-Lit kind of hotel after party debauchery that
and he
can't
was
really be
very
discussed.
very clear because of his marriage to Taylor from Tough Enough that he will not partake, but he will watch like the Honky Tonk Man.
Yes,
He made a big speech at the beginning of the night about that.
but I'm super happy to see him back. In the WWE, I think
Oh, I love him.
he's probably one of the the better acts coming out of that Cruiserweight Classic. Hopefully, he's got a job for life there at some capacity at this point because, I mean, the dude is fucking always been killer in the ring. If we were in a better financial, I guess, state back then, you would have probably seen Brian Kendrick on every fucking show. But at the time, just like Grado, we tried to justify 3 days for a flight. He was from California, and that, that expense for us at the time was above and beyond like our means. We could, barely afford to make that happen. So if we were at a different spot back then, I think Brian Kendrick would have been given the full-time AIW contract. Because, I mean, he did fucking awesome, that J-Lit weekend, J-Lit 2012, wrestling Donst and BJ Whitmer. He was fucking phenomenal in the ring. And, looking at him now, even years later, he's still better, just as good or better than ever.
All right, let's move on to Adam Cole.
We just had him a couple times, I think.
Yeah, this is definitely a Biggins move right here. This was, before Adam Cole is the Adam Cole you all know now. Adam Cole was kind of like this young, hungry,
The Panama City Playboy.
the Panama City Playboy. And I know Mike versus Philly was really pushing this guy, to come in.
Yeah, and then we met him at the Young Lions Cup.
Oh yeah, the one that Eric Ryan was in.
Yeah, so we booked him. We booked him after meeting him, and like he was still just an up and comer.
Because him and Kyle O'Reilly had like this fucking amazing match at that Young Lions
Amazing
Cup.
feud.
Yeah, but I'm saying at the time at that
Yeah.
that Young Lions Cup, they fucking killed it, and we're like, let's book this fucking guy for sure.
Yeah, and
That's how crazy it is to think about it. One time, Adam Cole was a young lion.
yeah, for sure. And we booked him. I don't even know how many times. I mean,
I know he did a J-Lit one year. He did an Absolution 7.
yeah, against
I don't know.
ACH.
Maybe we booked him 3 or 4 times.
And what was crazy about the Absolution match is it's him versus ACH, and like they were just 2 up and coming guys, like 2 outside but up and coming guys, and now they're like 2 of the pillars of Ring of Honor probably.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Adam Cole, great dude. Really, nothing else to say about him.
And like we were booking him, and then he went exclusive with ROH, and then there was a time that we were trying to get him through ROH, and it just didn't work out. But definitely, if he was still available and taking dates, we'd probably book him.
All right, let's talk about Uha Nation, a.k.a. Apollo Crews.
Yuha, this guy came out of nowhere.
We booked him because we did a double header with Beyond Wrestling, and he was there.
Like, and Drew is like, you got to book him versus AR Fox.
Yeah, and that was at like a real weird transitional time for AIW, and we just threw this random match on.
Had no expectations.
And, it was fucking awesome. Then, we were trying to do, like, this long-going feud, and then Uha got hurt. But Uha is another guy like Drake Younger where you're never going to hear one person say anything bad about that guy. That dude is, like, the most positive, happy person on the planet. Another guy, super happy for success, like, no dirt or any fucking...
I think the only negative I could ever say about Yuha is just we were unable to book him more.
Yeah, because he was just busy around the world.
It just was bad timing with injuries, and then
he would go from like Japan to Europe, back to Japan. Like it became so hard to book him because he was just,
I think every time
busy.
we checked, he was in Japan or something.
But I mean, he's a guy that we would give all the dates to. And Uha Nation is a guy that would drive from Atlanta which I don't even know how far that is, but it sounds real fucking
That's
far
about
to me.
12 hours probably.
And he would drive up because he was just one of those guys that was just all about, making bookings and getting his name out there everywhere.
He was a
could.
guy just hungry to make it, and I mean, I think it's awesome what's happened to him.
But it sounds kind of dumb or whatever. But unfortunately, there's no dirt to tell on this guy or nothing bad to say.
And we were lucky enough when he had inklings that he was going to go to the show. He hit us up and was like, I can do.
He's like, I want to wrestle for you guys at least one more time. So we were able to bring him back to wrestle Josh Alexander for that that one random booking in February of 2015, I think, or 24. I don't know, 2015.
But and the whole thing with Yuha is I don't think we were best friends with the guy, but he was just a nice dude, and he's always cool to talk to. And
I'll send him DMs, or we'll DM every now and then.
Send our well wishes when he has something cool happen.
Yeah, but yeah, just one of those great dudes. I don't think anyone would disagree.
All right, final person, since you're pushing on the end of the show. Let's go with a woman, Hailey Hatred.
Oh, the Golden Goose.
The Golden Goose. Where do we begin?
She probably drew more for us than probably anybody in history of AIW.
Yeah, I mean, not crowd wise, but she was pretty much the pillar of our DVD business when AIW was just all over the map with bad shows. Hailey Hatred was the thing that was bringing us attention for I don't know what 2008 till up until 2012.
She definitely probably single-handedly financed those years.
Yeah, just just crazy stuff. She had moved to. I think we told the story about Matt Riot. Being the guy that got her in.
So that was the G&O origin episode.
Yeah, but then she had moved to Cleveland and just became to become a regular for AIW.
She would just come hang out with us.
And she moved here and she just became a friend. We would just she would come to parties and we would go to bars and she was just one of the dudes. And her and I came up with this idea because we were super good friends. Hey, let's do a feud, and let's do some crazy matches. We did the no rope barbed wire match, which that fucking made us so much money.
And that was one of the craziest nights ever.
Going back to that theory of I'm just gonna do this really stupid shit because I don't have to pay myself, and I'm gonna hope that more people want to see that than see anything else. And we're what could be weirder than a death match? Because at the time, intergender wrestling was not fucking happening.
Yeah.
At all.
I think the only people doing it was Sarah Del Rey and Chikara.
Yeah, very rarely too. So it was just let's do an intergendered no ropes barbed wire match. First match. That was our first match that we ever did. And
I think you attacked her, and that was the first.
Yeah, and then she's well, this is escalating quickly. It's just at the time we weren't we couldn't tell a long drawn out. Let's build to this. It was people don't understand. It sounds so dumb, but we were fighting with all these other promotions locally over such a small fan base. So it's you had to do
survival.
You had to do whatever you could to sell tickets. So it's just yeah, we're doing a man versus woman no rope barbed wire match next month. You know what I mean? And that was so weird that that show drew fucking pretty good for us, and then the video sold like crazy. And then the match that everyone really loves is when we did the blow off match, which was the dog collar match at Absolution 4, and that was the most fucking painful thing I've ever experienced in my entire life, because Hailey Hatred is no fucking joke. But on top, besides the matches I did with her, she was fucking the whole reason why Girls Night Out happened. She was pushing the agenda to get women's wrestling in AIW. She is pretty much responsible in the reason why we have a women's division at this point.
Yeah, definitely the pioneer behind it.
The people don't understand the contributions that Hailey Hatred had to AIW were pretty much life-changing as far as, the business side of AIW goes, and what, the foundation that she laid for us to, evolve those ideas. Girls Night Out is still such a huge part of our business and like what brings in money. Like Girls Night Out a lot of times funds a lot of the regular shows. And that's, that was really, she was the driving force behind that. Her matches on YouTube bring in so much money that we put up.
Day.
Like that dog collar match has probably brought in, like, honestly, if I could put a ballpark number on it, just that one match alone has brought in $15,000 to $20,000 for AIW over the years, which is.
And I think she had one of the best-selling best-ofs of all time.
Yeah, she is just like, she was so important to AIW, and so many other places. It's a shame that she is honestly vanished. Nobody really knows what happened to her.
It's like you hear reports of she's here, she's there, but it's like Bigfoot.
Like there was she was supposed to potentially come to an AIW show last year. Like her sister had kind of reached out, and that never happened. I think the last time.
It happened a couple times, actually.
Yeah.
We heard rumors that, Hailey's coming.
And there was photos of her, in Ohio. She's becoming, almost like a myth or something at this point. I think I heard that she lives in Japan. Honestly, this is no bullshit. I heard that she married, some fucking Saudi Arabian prince and, lives in Japan somewhere.
I've heard she's had a bunch of kids, but nobody knows, and...
Yeah, I didn't hear the kid thing. I definitely heard the Prince thing.
Well, it's really a shame that she's we've never been able to tell her what she's meant to the company because she just up and vanished one day. She came back I think in 2012, and her and I did one more match, and I still I think the last time we saw her was a month later at Absolution, but. Her and I did one more match because, she was around and she wanted to wrestle me one last time. I wanted to wrestle her one last time because I was getting ready to just never, ever, ever wrestle again. I wanted to retire, and it just worked out because she was around. And she, I'll never forget, it's still hanging on my refrigerator. She, wrote a note and hid it in my gear bag, thanking me for all the matches that we had. And she signed it GG, which stood for Golden Goose, because that was our nickname for her, because we called her the Golden Goose, because she brought in so much money for us for doing these matches. And I mean, she was doing them for nothing, pretty much, just because she liked AIW, wanted to help AIW, and then she just she upped and vanished. I still have that little note hanging on my refrigerator in my apartment right now. But she was so important, and it's a shame that she did disappear because, how at that time the WWE was never going to sign a girl with her body type and wrestle the way she did. And now, I feel like if she still would have been around, she definitely would have had a place somewhere within the WWE system. She just kind of, she did very well in Japan. She made a lot of money in Japan. And then, like I said, nobody knows 100% what happened to her. But she supposedly married some sort of prince of some sort, and she kind of vanished. It just makes me real sad. We never got to say goodbye or anything. It's just real because, we said on a personal level, she was our friend. And
yeah, people don't really understand that. We don't really develop too good of
personal bonds,
bonds or friendships with people outside of doing business. But Hailey was. She was pretty much a member of the office in AIW. She would come to meetings that we would have and
personal events and
she would come to parties and birthday parties and hey, it's your birthday, let's all go out. Hey, what are we doing for Halloween? Let's all go out for Halloween.
You guys want to go out to eat or
Yeah, and she was in the crew. She was definitely in the inner circle more than I would say 99% of the people that we even cross paths with today. And she just one day she just up and vanished, which is just so bizarre. I do know she's alive though, because I seen a picture of her on Instagram at least a year ago. She was alive a year ago. That's all I know. But yeah,
I still want to hire somebody to do a documentary on where in the world is Hailey Hatred.
Yeah, she is just she is so important to the history of AIW, people will never even understand.
I wish she knew.
Yeah. If we honestly just wish she knew, because she's probably a reason why this company was able to stick around during some super tough
And I would
times.
just like to see her on a personal level.
Yeah, I mean, great, just a great friend, great person. I wish.
Who knows what happened?
Yeah, I hope she's doing well.
The most viewed YouTube video on the AI Wrestling YouTube page is the dog collar match between you and her. 2.5 million views.
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine, like, back when you did that match, that 2.5 billion people would have seen it?
I wouldn't have, that day, I wouldn't have been sure that 2 people were going to see that match.
Yeah, I think like 100 saw it that day.
2.5 million as of this recording date. And if you want to follow,
if only anybody that viewed that match if all of them gave us $1 each, we would retire.
And if you want to follow John Thorne, little things in the corner of the video too. So
I put that on there. I'm trying to get up my local celebrity game.
make John Thorne famous.
That's perk of running the YouTube channel.
I thought it'd be across the screen, not in the bottom.
Oh, yeah. Well, I didn't fucking tag it Glenn Moore style. I just put a little corner on there.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
And we're gonna wrap it up on that note.
Rock your beautiful body, Glenn.
We'll talk to you guys next week, and the card is going to change. Subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, all the podcast platforms, and we'll have another volume of the AIW alum. So if we didn't get to your favorite or a person that you wanted us to talk about, there will be many volumes of AI alum. So, like I said, we'll talk to you guys next week.
Thanks.
I hope Teddy Hart calls you.